Wow, it's been it has been quite a while since I've made another video. Yeah, shocker. So, anyways, got a question for you all. What what are you afraid of? I mean, it could be something as simple as like maybe a scary game or movie, or just some monster you saw on the internet, or anything of the sorts. Or heck, it could be any of these examples that I will flash at you at the screen in just a moment. Heck, I could definitely argue for the sake of video that I could just simply say, or maybe sudden movie images that happens on videos every so often just because there's this scary story that I am trying to get through, but apparently I can't because I am so terrified of the image alone that I just can't go on. So, originally I was going to do a sketch that revolves around me reacting to a creepy video that has or at least a creepypasta video that has a image that suddenly changes every now and then. But no, I am not going to do that, because I actually want sleep. And hey, whatever the case may be. Yeah, I mean, seriously, everyone's got something to be afraid of. For me personally, you would just saw a, well, unfinished sketch because I was too much of a wuss to, go through with it. So, hey, with that being said, heck, well, even some of the things I have listed on the video prior, I'll admit, I have a little terror of. But there is a certain, but there is a certain limit to how much you can go before you drive yourself insane, if I may do say so myself. But what did it mean to, have fear be the ultimate subjectiveness? Well, one, if watching the Joker or something, I think, is that comedy is subjective. So, technically fear is as well. But, that would just be too easy to sum up but in a matter of 10 seconds at most. But, hey, before continuing forward, I actually would like to point out to the definition of what I mean, of what fear is. Basically, the definition of it. Excuse me, that I pulled out from Google. Fear, as a noun, an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or threat. And the verb. Be afraid of someone or something as likely to be dangerous, painful, or threatening. So yeah, it legit could be anything. Now we put it into different perspectives. Heck, I would even argue to say that because of how much of a fear junkie I was back in the day as a wee lad, that I'm actually now afraid to do certain things because now I've realized how dumb I was. So going into furthermore weird detail of what fear means to be subjective is that, I feel like I should probably explain my personal experience of fear before proceeding forward. You see, get with me, I was a teenager once, and I imagine everyone else is, unless you're a young viewer who is just looking at this video, wondering what it means to be skewy. And somehow you found this video. Well, basically for me, I was into the creepypasta fandom once upon a time. And I definitely am still, technically speaking. That it's just, I've kind of pulled back a little because, hey, there was a lot of things I, got not to be afraid of, but because of it. I mean, it didn't help that the stories itself were presented as terrifying, and some of the videos I've sat through related to the creepypastas were very well voiced and had sound effects. if you can call them that. And here's where the subjectiveness comes in, at least from my experience anyway. Yeah, I have a friend who is also into the creepypasta fandom, and hey, he has his picks, I have mine. Basically, my picks are something that comes straight from a fandom that I actually like. Like, for example, the one that I have shown, which is the MLP fandom. Yes, I am not kidding you. What those kind of creepypastas actually terrify me a little. As well as like one straight out of like Sonic the Hedgehog or technically anything from gaming, technically speaking. Well, this friend that I have, he's more into the original stories, if you can call it that. And goes without saying that, he's got his own favorite stories to tell in there. Well, I kind of have mine, and kind of know what to go back to at like 2 in the morning. Which is still not 2 in the morning right now as of this recording, so thank bloody heathens for that. So hey. Good. So as far as subjectiveness goes, and from me telling you from experience that, hey, fear is definitely subjective. And I can definitely tell you, also, in addition to it, there is plenty of ways to go about your fear. You could just either ignore it, or you can embrace it a little. And I imagine, for those who have embraced it, that either came out as way more terrified of the world as ever, or you're just no longer scared. And that's okay too, because as fear is being subjective, there are people who are just not terrified at all. And then there are other certain types of fears that I will definitely put in this video, because hey, it's also subjective that people could be afraid of viruses. Especially this day and age where people nowadays are kind of getting sick left and right. So it's normal to be afraid of certain things like that. Me? I was never afraid of any virus that gets me. Because I'll admit that as someone who's got a pretty good, or at least was told, who has a pretty good immune system and whatnot, I pretty much was led to believe that I'm going to be fine a lot more times than I would say at most. Whether or not I've got myself a virus and went through with it slowly and quietly is another matter itself. And probably one that I may not ever know. Whatever. What about the fictional characters that people have been afraid of? Like, I could direct you as far back as the early days of the internet and basically point out a picture of like Slenderman and stuff like that. But nah, I could probably just point to this poster that I have up here, where and just be like, well, that poster probably creeps you out to every now and often. I mean, seriously, that's one of the more iconic things to be afraid of. And no, I'm not actually referring to the fictional character herself being Joker, or Heath Ledger Joker for that matter. What I'm about to say might trigger definitely some, but I'm not scared of clowns. I think they're very pleasant. But I will gradually admit that because of the phobias that I have developed, I definitely would not want to go back into the water because of some mechanical phobia. Last thing I want in my life is to see an animatronic underwater, and that, in my opinion, is very unnatural, and it probably should never happen. That is another part of fear that is subjective. But like, I'm not scared of clowns. I'm scared of animatronics. Because it is uncanny levels of terrifying. But hey, everyone's got their fear, their picks, their stories to tell. Everyone's got something, or well, I probably shouldn't say yeah, everyone because that would be hypocritical for me. Considering that I've just said that everyone's got it. Not everyone's terrified, but that. But everyone in some capacity was afraid of something. Yeah, it's just that some people nowadays have aged up, wisen up, and definitely got a sense of no fear whatsoever. But then there are other fears that I imagine some people would definitely be afraid of as well. Is how you die. That the fear of death. It is probably one of the most easiest to be afraid of because hey, you never know how you will die, and hey, it's never easy get to say if you'll die of old age or sickness or whatever. And I can imagine in the final moments before your final breath, it is probably either the terrifying thing ever, or it's probably the more relieving one. I don't know. Well, I guess it depends on the situation or scenario, as it were. Where, as far as other things go, as things have becoming more subjected to fear, like if we were to like wind the clock back up to like the days of the late 80s, so let's just say, the scariest thing that some people would say, that people would argue what is the most terrifying thing ever is the Nightmare on Elm Street series, or probably the Halloween series, or Friday the 13th. That well, to us, they may seem cheesy now, but back then, they are terrifying, or at least was. Said terrifying the most. Said, and as time goes by, new types of fear are being figured out, and somewhat. Maybe there's a fear of not. Well, technically, I imagine there's already a fear of, but not fitting in, because hey, everyone's bound to fear not fitting in at some point, or at least some have, I think. Yeah. And I'm sure as time goes by, we will have something new to be afraid of. But given the situation that some I imagine are going through, what I can only hope that days would get better, and that the light of the situation can be revealed. That was terrible. Sorry. Yeah, I actually expected that to be a little brighter. Yeah, but I am not the one to say that you're what. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, like for example, like what I'm doing no more often than not is continuously looking around and stuff like that. And yeah, I am guilty of doing this a lot of my videos, like in the past. It's because I get so anxious when I am home alone. Granted, I probably should say completely alone, but hey, that happens. So like, even when I'm just sitting around watching YouTube or playing games or whatever, where I always look around anxiously because I get easily startled by these sudden sounds. And yeah, the reason for me looking around is kind of justified because of it. But I imagine others don't do what I do as well. Or maybe there are some who will watch this video and actually do. Well, please let me know if you do. So hey. Yeah, fear is subjective, we can all agree. Yeah, it's just like a comedy. It's subjective, but we have our picks. And, yep. With that being said, my eyes are hurting now, and I have no idea why. Yeah, they are not bleeding, that's fine. no, no. Uh, I would like to know you guys' thoughts on fear. Where, I mean, is there something that you're still terrified of today? Yeah, when you were a kid? Did you develop a new phobia? Or anything of the sort? Seriously. Yeah, this video is primarily on the topic of discussion of fear itself. But like, yeah, it's 2020 and there are a lot of things to be afraid of nowadays. Like, getting cancelled, apparently. Yeah, in some cases, but hey. Yeah, 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 yeah. It could even be something as silly as, like, rejection. Or rejection from a love interest, I should say in more specific cases. But hey, all is good. And as I just stated earlier, what's your guys' fear? Do you have a phobia that you've got yourself into? What? 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 I mean, surely you must have a good story to tell. Heck, I bet that some people who are watching this video might have a pretty good ghost story to tell. Because they exist, and yeah, is there a certain fictional story on the internet that you got scared of for so long that you couldn't look at things the same way again? Yeah, like, seriously, it's all open here. Where leave your thoughts, comments, and thoughts and what I have suggested down below. And yeah, I will leave this video at that. And I hope you guys will subscribe, like the video, share this with your friends, etc., etc. Yeah, however you in the video. I hope you will stick around for the journey. And I will see you guys later. See ya.